Please welcome back to the stage, Jomboy Jimmy O'Brien.
Guess what?
All right, you told us a little bit earlier today about how you started the company. And I've had the good fortune of working in several different places over my career. The number one thing when people know that I work for Jomboy is, oh my God, I love the lip reading dude. That is the number one thing. So how in the world did you discover that you could actually do that?
I discovered other people can't, is what happened. More so. Like, I would watch a video and then the pitcher would yell and scream off the mound, and I'd say, oh, he said, I thought everyone could just read those. Like, everyone just could understand it. And then when I made the first couple videos, I realized they can't. I don't know how my dad used to rewind the TiVo and say, Jim, what did he say? And then I would tell him when I was a kid. But I don't think either of us thought it was a skill or anything special. So I did remember that. I was like, oh yeah, I've always been able to do it. I think I can read I can read baseball lips. Sometimes people send me videos of out of context stuff. I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. But if I watch the game and I know the context of what they're saying, I can guess, and then I can read it. But yeah, I didn't know sometimes that other people can't do the little ones. Some managers are very easy. Boone is really easy. Some managers are really hard, and I never do videos of them because they don't open. Like Shelton, it's hard. He doesn't really open his mouth. But I don't know. I've never studied it or practiced it. Now I've practiced it a lot over and over. But yeah, like if a guy runs off the mound and he goes like, I was gonna swear because that's what they always do. You know, hell yeah. I just thought everyone could see that.
So I remember when we were at the winter meetings in San Diego a couple years ago, and I was getting ready to interview Brandon Hyde of the Baltimore Orioles, and he comes over, and we get ready to sit down, and he looks at Jimmy, and he shakes his hand, and he goes, boy, oh boy, because he had a big blow up. Remember that year? Yeah. And he was like, my son and everybody sent me your video, and so we talked about it on the Rose rotation, and I said, well, how accurate was Jimmy? And he goes, he nailed at least 95% of it. What sort of accuracy rate do you try to get before you're comfortable putting a video out?
Okay, so if anyone here is familiar with the videos or people that have watched that have seen them before, if I put the words on the screen, that means I think it's 95 to 100% accurate. If the words aren't on the screen and I'm still doing what I think he said, that means I'm guessing. But I won't put the words up there unless I really think it, because I don't want to be misquoted or get it like wrong. But a lot of times, you know the sentiment, and I can see two words, and then I just build the sentence, even though it might be a little off. But if I'm saying it and I don't have the words on the screen, I don't think that's what they said. I'm just kind of guessing what they might. Does that make sense? So like when I put the words on, that means I am 95% sure that's what they're actually saying.
Have you ever put out a video and heard from somebody that's in it? Have they DM'd you and said, hey man, you nailed it?
Yeah, a lot. And like Joe Kelly, when I did the one where he talked about the Astros, he went on a podcast and said, yep, that was everything I said. Torey Lovello, I did one on him, and they were like, how did you know that? That's what they were arguing. No one else knew that was what he was arguing. So yeah, it's kind of been confirmed a lot. Some players reach out. Some players I'll reach out beforehand now, just to see.
What do you want to find out from them?
I really won't ask about the lip readings, if this is right or not. We had a relationship with Amir Garrett through you. He came to our house. He puked on the mound, and I said, hey, I always do videos when guys puke on the mound, but I won't if you don't want me to, because he came out of the game, I think, and was sick. And he was like, fuck it, do it. That's fine. I'm like, okay. Or someone came up to me today about the video where the Tigers pitcher was tipping his pitches and the Yankees had the pitchers. Tucker Barnhart was the catcher and Trevino was the hitter, and we've had relationships with both of those guys before. And I saw Tucker doing all these fake head shakes to his catcher. Like in the at-bat, he was telling his pitcher, shake your head, and then you can see the pitcher shaking your head. So I was watching like, something's going on here. None of this makes sense. So then I went and I was like, I think they were tipping and he was trying to get them off the scent. I DM'd Tucker Barnhart and I was like, hey, here's my assumption before I go into the weeds. Or I said something like that. I said, why were you doing all those head shakes? He said, well, when they know what you're throwing, you got to try some stuff. And then I said, all right. And then I went and I found it that night. And I texted him. I said, I found it. And he said, yeah, us too. Same thing. So I confirmed. I didn't want to put that one out there and be wrong because baseball players never want to admit that they had a tip, that they had an advantage. They want to hold on to that. So they'd actually deny that. I've had that where they're like, no, we didn't have a tell. We didn't know, but they did. So I wanted at least one player on record before I put that out there, just to cover myself.
Obviously, the Astros Trash Can Banging
Yes.
is what really kind of catapulted, I would say, this company to a different stratosphere to a degree. How long did that process take?
That video took maybe half hour.
A half hour?
Yes, I read the article, and in it, a reliever for the White Sox, Danny Farquhar, said they got him on record. Like Evan Drellich and Ken Rosenthal spent years researching, and they broke that story. I want to make sure they get all the credit. They wrote the article. I read the article. Danny Farquhar was on record saying, I pitched there last season. I heard the bang. I stepped off, called my catcher, and said, we need to change the signs. I said, well, Danny Farquhar's a reliever. They only visit
one time.
So there's 3 games this could be. So I just went to his game log, found the one game he pitched in. That takes all of 1 minute on Baseball Reference. Then I went to that game on MLB TV, put my headphones on, turned it up, and I was like, oh, you can hear the banging. And I was kind of blown away, like, whoa. And then I pieced that article and those videos together as quickly as I could. I was in a brand new apartment in Manhattan, and I didn't have any soundproof. I had terrible mics, so I took the 2 couch cushions off this and made a teepee over my head on my desk, and that's how I recorded the audio. And then I posted that, and then I went to a high school in Manhattan, and they had a sabermetrics club, and I talked to the kids at the sabermetrics club, and by the time I got back, it had just gone crazy. I also, that day, I went and shook hands on the first ever investment Jomboy Media, and I said, I think you're going to like what we just posted.
My God.
So we signed the first investment, and then as soon as the ink, we signed on it, that came out, and they immediately were like, oh, nice, good timing.
Or can we renegotiate? One of the two.
That's what I should have done.
Is there one you're most proud of?
Probably the Tigers tipping one that I just said, because a lot of people think I did that sort of thing with the Astros, but I didn't. All the information was there. But that one that I'm talking about, it got a really good reception. I went and I scouted, I watched all of it, like I think they had this. And I had to figure out what it was, because putting a video out there saying he was tipping, but I don't know how, didn't carry much weight. So I really went and figured out what could they have, and I hadn't done that on a guy before. And then like Raul Ibanez, who was just part of RefCast, when I met him, he was like, that was awesome. I show that to everyone. That is the game within the game that nobody knows about. That is what we as major league players do and know. Like Matt Carpenter followed me after that, and he was part of the video. So I had players say like, that's the game that we know, and no one really shares that. So that one got a good reception from like the public and players, and I'm personally was impressed with myself on it.
Start to finish, you've decided to go do a lip reading. Now I hit send and it's out in the social media. How long is the process on average?
1 minute is 1 hour. So if it's 5 minutes, that took me five hours. If it's lip reading, it's probably 1.5. So if it's 5 minutes and there's a lot of lip reading, that probably took me like 7.5 hours.
Have you ever had one where you've been in and you're like, I can't finish this? Like,
yes.
Really?
They become shorts. They become 1 minute vertical videos. I'll just post whatever I had. The Angels and Mariners brawl. Remember that one? there was so much fan footage because Ohtani has such a audience. They bring their cameras, and there's YouTube channels that just post Angels games, and I had so much to work with. I think it's a 15-minute video, but it was 16 hours straight. I called out of every other show and said, I'm making this. And Bill Hader's a fan of the videos. And the next morning I got a call and he said, that was incredible. I just needed a call.
You got a call from Bill Hader.
Usually he texts me when he likes it. And he just said, I got to tell you that you did the narrative, you did the stories, you did all the characters, and you ran through it. And then Phil Nevin, the manager, that he said, and you didn't do me that dirty, thank you. I was worried because I have a relationship with him, but he was in the wrong in that video. And I couldn't say he wasn't, but he was like, you didn't do me that dirty. I like that.
You've done a few videos in Spanish, correct?
Well, Joe's, who you just saw, and his buddy Lou, I'll send them slow motion. I'll send them slow motion of the lips if they're yelling in Spanish, and then I'll say I think it sounds like this, and they go like ah blah 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 blah, and then they'll put the Spanish to it for me sometimes. Is that true, Joe's? Yeah.
He says yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there another superstar that you've heard from? Bill Hader's pretty good. Is there somebody else kind of outside of that might surprise some people? They're like, oh, fan, or you've met somebody at a ballpark where they're like, you do great work.
No, Bill Hader's the craziest one, because then we just started texting all the time like we're friends. When I did one on Scherzer where he kept saying salt and sweat,
when he got ejected for having the substance on his hands.
What was he saying?
Yeah, it was
sweat and rosin.
Sweat and rosin.
Sweat and rosin. I took both broadcasts, all the replays, and then I slowly zoomed in on his face like you would in a drama. It starts really wide, and it's like sweat and rosin, and then like an interrogation scene. And after that one, Bill Burr tweeted it, saying Jomboy Media has the best sports videos on the internet right now. That was wild, because he's pretty big.
Yeah, I would say. Is there anywhere you would like to take this that it hasn't gone so far? Is there a white whale out there for you that you would like to attack or haven't done? Or somebody has issued you a challenge on social media. Hey, I need you to try this one.
No, not really. I mean, people want me to do like politics all the time, but I'm not going to do that. They would get a lot of views. No, it doesn't work for a lot of sports. People always want football, but there's not enough downtime. There's so much downtime in baseball that they show all the faces. So I get to do the crowd reaction and that face reaction. Like hockey doesn't really work because they wear helmets and it's too fast. So I don't know. Baseball, it would just be if there's another brawl between some big names. Like when Puig was getting in brawls, that was I enjoyed doing it and people enjoyed watching them. So it'd be like another Ohtani Judge fight. There you go. It's the white whale. Ohtani and Judge scream at each other. That'd be fun.
What is the highest viewed video of all time?
The video or the number? The video is of an armless swimmer.
Oh.
It's just this guy. Yeah, it's like a minute. It's got like maybe 70 million views total.
Right.
It goes crazy. The most watched baseball breakdown on YouTube is Adrian Hauser puking in the middle of pitching.
That's great for him in his career.
Yeah.
He thought DFA'd was being bad. It was bad. That's apparently not. For people who are like, yeah, you know what? I can do that. I can pull it off. It's something you're born with, it sounds like.
Reading lips, yeah. Sometimes I get stuck and I ask someone in the office and they're like, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard and I'll really slow it down and I look like an idiot, like when you feed a baby and you open your mouth and I'm like mouthing with them. But yeah, for the most part, I can just kind of watch it and I understand what they're saying. I don't know.
Well, you have changed the way the game is seen. There's no question about it. Like I said, it's the number one thing I get asked about when people know that I work at Jomboy Media. Keep making the sport fun, dude. It really is incredible. We all love your work. Let's hear it for Jimmy again and his amazing breakdowns.
Thank you.